15 old musicians who should retire right now. The standing ovations still come. The tickets still sell, but the magic disappeared years ago. Vocal cords shredded by time. Bodies breaking down mid-performance. Legacies built over decades now crumbling on stage every night. These are 15 old musicians who should retire right now. Number 15. Mick Jagger, the frontman of the Rolling Stones, turned 80 in July 2023. 6 decades of touring, billions in revenue, a knighthood. Yet Jagger and Keith Richards, also 80, announced another stadium tour for 2024. The Hackney Diamonds album dropped in October 2023, their first original material in 18 years. Critics praised it, but live performances tell a different story. Jagger's famous strut has slowed considerably. The vocal range that defined classic rock has narrowed to a fraction of its former power. Songs get lowered in key, energy flags after 90 minutes. The Rolling Stones have nothing left to prove. Their catalog stands as one of rock's greatest achievements. Every additional tour risks another Charlie Watts situation, who died at 80 in 2021, still committed to performing. Richards admitted his arthritis makes guitar playing increasingly difficult. The Stones should have quit while the legend remained untouchable. Instead, they're becoming a nostalgia act running on fumes and reputation.
No sweeping exits.
Number 14. Paul McCartney. The former Beatles celebrated his 81st birthday in June 2023 and immediately announced more tour dates. His Got Back tour grossed over $200 million across 2022 and 2023. The crowds still worship him, but those crowds are also watching an octogenarian struggle with songs written 60 years ago. McCartney's voice, never the strongest instrument, has deteriorated noticeably. High notes get avoided entirely. Maybe I'm Amazed sounds nothing like the original. Band members cover vocal weaknesses with strategic harmonies. McCartney's legacy needs no additional padding. Songwriter of the century, Beatle, Wings, solo career spanning 5 decades. Yet he keeps touring, charging premium prices for performances that pale beside his recordings. The 2023 shows revealed visible fatigue, forgotten lyrics, and increasing reliance on screens showing old footage. At 81, every performance risks becoming his last in the worst possible way. The man who wrote Yesterday deserves better than becoming tomorrow's cautionary headline. Number 13. Madonna. The Queen of Pop collapsed backstage in June 2023 from a serious bacterial infection. She spent days in intensive care. Doctors later revealed she was found unresponsive and intubated. Madonna was 64. 3 months later, she announced the celebration tour anyway. Opening night in London, October 2023, she took the stage looking uncomfortable, moving stiffly, and struggling with choreography that once defined MTV. Ticket prices exceeded $500. Reviews mentioned her physical limitations. Madonna built her empire on reinvention and physical prowess. But at 65, the reinventions feel desperate. Heavy filters on social media, cosmetic procedures making her nearly unrecognizable. The celebration tour features elaborate staging designed to distract from diminished movement. Her voice, never her primary asset, has grown thin and breathy. Madonna could retire as the most successful female artist in history. Instead, she's touring months after a near-death experience, charging fans to watch her struggle through catalog highlights. The Material Girl should take the money she's already made and stop. Number 12. Ozzy Osbourne. The Prince of Darkness revealed his Parkinson's disease diagnosis in January 2020. He was 71. By 2023, at 75, Osbourne had also undergone major spinal surgery, suffered a near-fatal staph infection, and could barely walk without assistance. His final album, Patient Number 9, released in 2022, to strong in reviews, but any discussion of live performance ended permanently. Osbourne canceled his farewell tour in February 2023, admitting he was not physically capable of touring. Then he started talking about performing again. Cher and Osbourne keep suggesting Ozzy might return to the stage. Ozzy himself has mentioned wanting to perform seated, but footage from his recent public appearances shows a man struggling with basic mobility. His speech has slowed dramatically. The tremors are visible. Ozzy Osbourne changed heavy metal forever. Black Sabbath, solo stardom, reality television. The brand remains lucrative, but the human being behind it can barely function. Every suggestion of a comeback feels less like artistic ambition and more like an inability to accept that the road has ended. It ended years ago. Before we continue, which of these legends surprised you most? Did you expect to see the Rolling Stones or Paul McCartney on this list? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 11, Steven Tyler. Aerosmith canceled their farewell tour permanently in August 2024. The reason was devastating. Steven Tyler, 76, had suffered complete vocal cord damage that would never heal. Medical specialists confirmed the fracture was irreparable. No surgery could fix it. No rest would restore it. The voice behind Dream On and Walk This Way was gone forever. Tyler had already postponed the tour multiple times. He entered rehab in 2022 after a relapse. His voice had been declining audibly for years before the final diagnosis. Tyler spent 50 years screaming at the absolute top of his range. That style was never sustainable. Every Aerosmith tour from the 2010s onward showed the cracks widening. High notes became impossible. The rasp overwhelmed the melody. Yet Tyler kept pushing, kept touring, kept pretending the voice would hold. It didn't. The body finally did what Tyler refused to do. Aerosmith had multiple opportunities to retire, gracefully. Instead, they announced a farewell tour, then watched their frontman's instrument shatter completely. The legacy survives, but the ending was preventable. Number 10, Bob Dylan. The Nobel laureate turned 82 in May 2023. He hasn't stopped touring since 1988. The never-ending tour continues annually, with Dylan performing over 70 shows per year well into his 80s. His dedication is remarkable. His current vocal delivery is nearly incomprehensible. Dylan's voice was never conventionally beautiful, but it was distinctive and emotionally powerful. Today, it's a gravelly mumble that renders his own lyrics unrecognizable. Even devoted fans admit they can't understand what he's singing.
First step was touching the moon. Now there's a woman.
Dylan plays piano now instead of guitar at most shows. He refuses to engage with audiences between songs. The performances feel perfunctory, like obligations rather than artistic expressions. Ticket prices remain high. The crowds remain devoted. But reviews consistently mention the same issues: inaudible vocals, detached performance, and a legend seemingly going through the motions. Dylan wrote songs that defined generations. Blowin' in the Wind, Like a Rolling Stone, Tangled Up in Blue. That catalog needs no additional live performances to cement its importance. Yet Dylan keeps touring, apparently unable to imagine life without the road.
Later, the ghetto's on enslaved. The Rubens in South America fight for his name.
Number 9. Gene Simmons. Kiss announced their end-of-the-road farewell tour in 2019. 5 years later, they're still touring. Gene Simmons turned 74 in August 2024. Bandmate Paul Stanley is 72. The elaborate costumes and pyrotechnics now serve primarily to distract from two elderly men struggling through a catalog written in their 20s. Stanley's voice has deteriorated dramatically. Videos from recent shows went viral for all the wrong reasons, with fans cringing at his inability to hit notes he wrote 50 years ago. Simmons still breathes fire and spits blood, but the tongue-wagging demon act looks increasingly absurd on a man approaching 80. Kiss made over $300 million from their supposedly final tour. The farewell has been extended repeatedly. Each extension brings worse performances and higher prices. Simmons has never hidden his motivation for touring: money. He's called rock and roll a business opportunity, not an art form. That honesty doesn't make watching two septuagenarians squeeze into platform boots any less uncomfortable. Kiss delivered spectacle when spectacle was enough. Now audiences expect more. Kiss can only deliver less. Before we get to the top 8, has anyone actually seen these musicians live recently? Did the performance match your memories or disappoint you? Let us know in the comments. Number 8, Rod Stewart.
Red roses too, I see them bloom.
The raspy-voiced Brit turned 79 in January 2024 and immediately continued his Las Vegas residency. Stewart has been performing Maggie May for over 50 years. His voice, always distinctive, has thickened and lost significant range. Recent performances show him struggling with songs he's sung thousands of times. The famous rough texture has become rough without texture. Energy that once electrified arenas now barely fills casino showrooms. Still, the residency continues. The tour dates keep coming. The ticket prices keep climbing. Stewart accumulated an estimated fortune of $300 million. He owns multiple homes. His art collection is worth millions. Financial necessity doesn't explain continued touring, yet Stewart keeps performing, keeps recording albums that receive polite reviews and minimal sales, and keeps pretending the voice still works. His Great American Songbook albums were critical and commercial successes in the 2000s. He could have transitioned gracefully into elder statesman status. Instead, he's grinding through residencies, letting audiences watch the decline in real time. The hot legs are tired. The raspy voice is just rasp. Number 7, Cher. The goddess of pop turned 78 in May 2024. Her Las Vegas residency continued into 2024 after years of extensions. Cher's relationship with retirement has always been complicated. She launched a farewell tour in 2002. It lasted 3 years. She swore she was done with touring. She wasn't. The Here We Go Again tour ran from 2018 to 2020. Another Vegas residency followed. Retirement announcements from Cher have become meaningless. She'll perform until she physically cannot. Cher's voice remains surprisingly strong for her age, better preserved than many on this list. But the elaborate productions now feel exhausting rather than spectacular. The costume changes that once dazzled now seem desperate. Cher has outlived most of her contemporaries and remained more relevant than almost all of them. She's a genuine icon. But her continued performing raises questions about what drives these endless returns. Financial concerns seem unlikely given her estimated $360 million net worth. The spotlight addiction appears permanent. At 78, Cher has earned the right to rest. She refuses to take it. Number 6, Eric Clapton. The guitar legend turned 79 in March 2024 and continued touring despite increasingly controversial public statements and declining performances. Clapton's anti-vaccine stance during the pandemic alienated significant portions of his fan base. He claimed the AstraZeneca vaccine temporarily disabled him. He released protest songs comparing vaccine mandates to slavery. These statements overshadowed discussions of his actual music. Meanwhile, that music has diminished considerably. Clapton's playing remains technically proficient. The fire that defined his work with Cream, Derek and the Dominoes, and his solo peak has cooled to embers.
Never hung so low.
Clapton built one of rock's most celebrated guitar legacies. Layla, Tears in Heaven, Wonderful Tonight. His influence on blues rock remains immeasurable. That legacy now competes with his late-career political statements and performances that feel obligatory rather than inspired. Concert reviews mention going through the motions. The guitar solos lack the emotional intensity that once made them transcendent. Clapton could retire as one of the greatest guitarists ever. Instead, he's becoming known for Twitter controversies and cruise ship quality performances of his own classics. The diminishing returns aren't worth the damage.
Don't you know my name?
Before we continue to the top 5, which of these musicians' declines hit you hardest? Were any of these your childhood heroes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 5, Roger Waters. The The Pink Floyd co-founder turned 80 in September 2023 and launched one of the most controversial tours in rock history. His This Is Not a Drill tour featured elaborate political messaging that crossed into territory many found deeply offensive. Performances in Germany led to criminal investigations over costumes resembling Nazi imagery. Waters claimed artistic context. Critics saw an elderly man using concerts as political platforms while charging premium prices for the privilege. His touring band recreates Pink Floyd's classic sound. Waters himself mostly handles bass and vocals, both of which have deteriorated significantly.
Who knows which is which? And who's...
Pink Floyd created some of rock's most enduring albums: The Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, Wish You Were Here. Waters wrote significant portions of that catalog. His legacy was secured decades ago. Current tours do nothing to enhance it. Instead, they generate headlines about anti-Semitism accusations, banned concerts, and political grandstanding. Waters seems less interested in performing Pink Floyd classics than in lecturing audiences about his worldview. At 80, with hundreds of millions in career earnings, the continued touring feels more like ego preservation than artistic necessity. The Wall should have been the end. Number 4. Ringo Starr.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friend.
The former Beatle turned 84 in July 2024 and continued touring with his all-star band concept. Ringo was never the most technically proficient drummer. His strength was feel and groove, serving the song rather than showcasing ability. At 84, even those modest physical demands strain him visibly. His drumming has simplified considerably. His vocals, never strong, have weakened further. The all-star band format, featuring rotating musicians performing their own hits, allows Ringo to rest during shows. He's essentially hosting rather than headlining. Ringo remains beloved. His peace and love messaging is genuinely charming. His role in rock history is secure forever. But the continued touring raises questions about necessity. Ringo's net worth exceeds $300 million. He lives in luxury. The performances don't need to happen financially. Yet each year brings new tour dates, new audiences paying to see a legend who can barely perform the duties that made him legendary. Beatles nostalgia remains powerful, enough to fill seats. But the actual experience of watching an 84-year-old struggle through Yellow Submarine serves neither his legacy nor his audience's expectations.
I'm happy, be happy, 'cause everything I do is wrong.
Number 3. Axl Rose. The Guns N' Roses frontman turned 62 in February 2024 and continued touring despite a voice that no longer exists. Comparison videos between 80s Axl and current Axl regularly go viral for devastating reasons. The high-pitched wail that defined Welcome to the Jungle and Sweet Child O' Mine has been replaced by a strained, breathy wheeze. Songs are performed in lower keys. Rose runs out of breath mid-phrase. The disconnect between the elaborate stage production and his diminished instrument creates unintentional comedy. Ticket prices exceed $200 anyway. Guns N' Roses reunited in 2016 and has grossed over $600 million since. The financial incentive to continue is obvious. Rose's voice is the cost of collecting those checks. Unlike Steven Tyler, whose vocal damage was acute, Rose's decline happened gradually across decades of touring. He could stop any time. The money is already made. Slash and Duff McKagan remain relatively capable performers. Rose is the weak link, visibly struggling through songs that once demonstrated unparalleled rock vocal power. The jungle welcomed him. He should have left years ago. Before we get to the final two, did any of these musicians' current performances shock you? Have you paid money to see a legend who couldn't deliver anymore? Share your experience in the comments. Number 2. Brian Wilson.
Do you love me? Do you, sir?
The Beach Boys' genius turned 82 in June 2024 while under a court-ordered conservatorship. His family gained control of his affairs in April 2024, citing his major neurocognitive disorder. Wilson's mental health struggles have been documented for decades. Schizoaffective disorder, years of therapy and medication, exploitation by controversial therapist Eugene Landy in the 80s. Despite these Well-known challenges, Wilson continued performing into his 80s, often appearing confused on stage, forgetting lyrics to songs he wrote, and requiring significant assistance from band members just to complete shows.
Oh, it's hard, I try not to look at my wrist.
Wilson's genius is undeniable. Pet Sounds remains one of rock's greatest albums. God Only Knows and Good Vibrations showcase compositional brilliance that influenced generations. But recent performances have been difficult to watch. Wilson sometimes appears uncertain where he is. His voice is a shadow. His keyboard playing is minimal. Band members essentially perform around him while he sits center stage. The conservatorship should have ended the touring. It hasn't yet. Wilson's family now controls decisions about his performances. They should make the compassionate choice. Let Brian Wilson rest while his genius is still remembered more than his decline.
But I picked up something I just can't explain.
Number 1. Phil Collins.
I was there and I saw what you did.
The Genesis frontman and solo superstar turned 73 in January 2024. He spent the previous 3 years touring while unable to walk, stand, or play drums. Collins performed seated throughout Genesis's The Last Domino tour, which ran from 2021 to 2022. He required assistance getting to his chair. His son Nick played drums because Phil physically couldn't grip the sticks anymore. Nerve damage in his hands ended his drumming career. Spinal surgery left him with a dropped foot. He used a cane, then a wheelchair. He still performed. Collins sold over 150 million records, 8 #1 singles, 7 Grammy Awards. His drumming on In the Air Tonight became one of rock's most iconic moments. Yet, he spent his final touring years sitting motionless on stage, singing with a diminished voice while his son played the parts that made him famous. Reviews were sympathetic but heartbreaking. Audiences paid to watch a man who could barely function struggle through catalog highlights. The Last Domino tour was supposed to be farewell. Collins hinted at more dates anyway. The domino fell years ago. Phil Collins should acknowledge it finally fell on him.